Do you have two hands? Do you have two dumbbells? Then you can transform your body in just 90 days. I'm not saying that you will turn into Ronnie Coleman in 90 days, because I really want to portray a realistic transformation, but if you are a beginner or you are coming back to working out after a hiatus, you can take advantage of beginner gains or muscle memory and make a very impressive transformation in just 90 days. And even if you are just looking to go from working out in a fully equipped gym to working out with just dumbbells, you can still make some amazing progress while doing so. After all, when done right, new stimulus will always result in new amazing gains. No matter what your situation is, you just need to know what to do. Otherwise, you might very well look the exact same after those 90 days, and I'm pretty sure you don't want that. That's why in this video I will show you what you should do and what you should be careful about in order to achieve the most incredible transformation with only dumbbells in just 90 days. The first thing we need to talk about is how you should completely change the way you think about dumbbell-only workouts. A lot of people think about them as a less effective variation, which could be true if you go about it like a big dum-dum. You could absolutely make a dumbbell-only workout that is just straight up worse than any other type of workout. The key to making a good dumbbell-only routine is to not give in to gimmicks. Just because you are doing a dumbbell-only workout, that doesn't mean that you have to force yourself into some completely scuffed exercise. Let's take the bench press for example. If you only have dumbbells but no bench, what do? Do you do the floor press where the bottom half of the repetition is completely missing? Do you take all the chairs from your kitchen to create a makeshift bench and use that even though every rep feels absolutely terrible? Well, while you theoretically could do any of these options, the question is, why would you? The correct answer in this case would be to simply take the dumbbells or some other weight and put them into a backpack and do push-ups. That gives you a way of perfectly replicating the bench press without anything being scuffed or limited. And there are so many other examples of this. Simply making a smarter choice can make the difference between your dumbbell-only routine being mediocre versus it being absolutely amazing. So to prevent doing some gimmicky or scuffed exercises, let me show you the best options for each body part. And we will really just rapid fire through this, because we still have a lot more to cover. For the chest, you have a flat press, incline press and an isolation exercise. So if you have a bench available, you go with a flat dumbbell bench press, incline double bench press and dumbbell flies. But if you don't have a bench, you go for weighted push-ups, weighted decline push-ups, and instead of dumbbell flies that just kinda suck when you have to do them on the floor, you go with a more challenging variation of the push-up instead. So something like wide grip push-ups or even archer push-ups. Or you can just say F it and just do more sets of the weighted push-ups and decline weighted push-ups instead. It really just comes down to what you feel like works the best for you. When it comes to the back and you really only have dumbbells, you can't really do pull-ups or use the lat pull-down machine. Thankfully, there is a pretty good exercise to replace this type of exercise, and that is the dumbbell pullover, which does require a bench, but finding something you can lay on shouldn't be that difficult, because you don't really need your entire body to lay on it, so even the simplest chair possible should be an easy solution. Then the other type of exercise you gotta do is some kind of rowing exercise, which with dumbbells is pretty simple, as you can just do the dumbbell row. For the shoulders, the main building block is the dumbbell overhead press, which you can do in the standing variation, so no bench required. Then you have to add two types of isolation exercises for the shoulders, which means the rear delt fly for the rear delts and lateral raises for the side delts. When it comes to biceps, the main exercise will be the dumbbell curl. That's what you should focus on. The other type of exercise I would recommend in this case is a type of curl that focuses on your brachialis and brachioradialis, which really plays a massive role in your arms appearing much thicker. So with dumbbells only, that means doing the hammer curl or the dumbbell curl with your palms facing up. Now let's move on to the triceps. Here you just really gotta focus on two types of isolation exercises, as the heavy work is already being done by the chest pressing exercises. So all you have to do is one triceps isolation exercise for the lateral head and one for the long head. Your best bet for the lateral head is diamond push-ups, where you can start with just body weight and then later put on some weight in a backpack and continue like that. And for the long head, you need to do some type of overhead extension. So my best recommendation would be the dumbbell overhead tricep extension, which can once again be done standing up if you don't have a bench. Now let's finally take a look at the lower body, which always looks super complicated when it comes to doing it with only dumbbells. But if you know what to do, it really isn't that big of a deal. For the quads, your go-to should be the goblet squat. you can easily start with just body weight and then utilize dumbbells to progressively overload. But it would also be great if you could add some isolation for the quads, which with dumbbells only you can try the Bulgarian split squat or the dumbbell leg extension, but I'm personally not a fan of that one. For the hamstrings, the main star of the show could either be the dumbbell Romanian deadlift or the regular deadlift. Then you also need an isolation exercise, which in this case should be the assisted Nordic hamstring curl. And that's all you need for the hamstrings. And if you are wondering about glutes, they will get hit a good amount by exercises like the goblet squat or the Bulgarian split squat. So unless you want to hyper-focus on your glutes, this should be more than enough to see results. And the last essential body part we need to talk about is the calves. Here you simply add calf raises to your routine. You just need to find an elevated surface and you can begin. You can start with just body weight if you want, and later either hold dumbbells in your hands or put them in a backpack. And I of course didn't forget about abs. If you want to hit them, simply go for the sit-up, where you can also start with just body weight and later put dumbbells in a backpack and overload that way. After you have made all the right choices that fit your specific situation the best, you need to deal with another issue that arises when you work out with only dumbbells, and that is the progression curve. If you own a pair of adjustable dumbbells that go very high up in weight, then you are good and you don't really need to worry about anything. But if you can only add a couple of pounds and then you are maxed out, or you only have one pair of dumbbells that you can't even adjust, then you need to get more creative. Because as you hopefully know, progressive overload, aka making the exercise more difficult over time, is very important if you want to build as much muscle as possible. Luckily, adding weight isn't the only way in which you can make the exercise more difficult. So once you get to a point where you can't add any more additional weight, here is what you should do. First of all, you increase the rep range. Sure, it would be cool to be able to do 8 to 12 all the time, but if the weight is just too light, you have to go higher. And when I say higher, I really mean it. Going up to like 30 repetitions is what you should do in this case. Will it be scientifically optimal? No, but special situations require special solutions. So if you want to succeed in the dumbbell-only environment, you do have to realize that. Once you start getting very close to that 30 repetition mark on all of your sets, it's time for the next thing. Because while you could go even higher than 30 reps, after that point it really starts to turn into endurance training. So your best bet after that point is to just add more sets. For example, if you are doing 3 sets for that exercise that you already maxed out on, do 4 sets now, which is gonna act as a way of progressively overloading. Because even though the weight and the amount of reps will be the same, adding one extra set is gonna make it more difficult as a whole. So your body is gonna have a new stimulus it could react to build even more muscle. And even if you get through this point and you are using the maximum weight and doing around 30 reps easily in each one of your 4 sets, you are still not done. You can still make it more challenging. How, you might ask? By decreasing the rest times between the sets, which is a form of progressive overload. You know, the muscles just don't get that much time to recover, so they get more and more beat up with each set, and because your body is not used to that, it will once again make everything much more difficult. Plus, the best part is, it's gonna save you a lot of time, because when you do a lot of reps and a lot of sets, the workouts are just gonna get longer. But this completely slashes through the problem. And even if you get through this stage, you can still make it even more difficult if you need to. You just need to sprinkle in some special training methods. For example, you can start doing certain exercises in supersets, meaning you do them one after the other with basically no rest in between, which works similarly to just decreasing the rest periods between the sets. Or the other thing that you can try is ending your last set with a drop set, which means that once you get to the end of the set and you can't continue anymore, you lower the weight and continue doing more reps until you are left with just body weight and you can't do any more reps. This will completely destroy your muscles guaranteed, which will definitely make them grow, even if you can't increase the weight. So if I had to completely simplify it, once you max out the weight you have, you increase the repetitions to around 30. Then you add 1 or even 2 extra sets for that exercise. And after that, you decrease the rest times between the sets. And after even this stage becomes relatively easy, you add in special training methods like supersets or drop sets. And going through this progression gauntlet will definitely take you a very long time. So you really don't have to worry about running out of ways to progress forward. Perfectly nailing the exercise selection and taking care of progressive overload, even if your situation is a little unusual, are the 2 most important things that make all the difference. But unfortunately, because dumbbell-only workouts are an unknown territory for a lot of people, this is exactly where most people fumble the ball, and why only a very few people find success with dumbbell-only workouts. But you now know exactly how to make it work. Then you just gotta combine it with enough protein and sleep, and you got the recipe for success in the simplest way possible. Which actually brings us to the main question. Is it actually possible to make a transformation like this in just 90 days? Well, yeah, there is just a lot of changing variables. For example, if you are starting out more overweight, it will be much more difficult for you to notice all the muscle gain, because part of it will be hiding under the fat. You know, if you are super skinny and you suddenly focus on eating more and you combine that with newbie gains or just muscle memory, you can really make almost an unnatural looking transformation in a very short period of time. That is especially true if you are a teenager. But even if you are starting from a chubbier point, the muscle is still being built. You might not see it right away, but as you get further in your journey and you lose all the excess weight, you will also be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Just don't get discouraged. People really need to realize that the first year and especially the first 3 to 6 months is where you will gain most of your muscle mass. Then it will get slower and slower with each year. So if you know exactly what to do, you can make an incredible transformation in just 90 days. As insane as it sounds. You might be thinking to yourself, did I just waste my newbie gains? And no, not really. You can always catch up pretty quickly once you figure out all the basics, which I have plenty of videos about on my channel. But if you want a complete step-by-step guide that will make sure that you learn the basics of training, nutrition and even cardio, you should check out the Beginner Bundle, which is a 3-month journey that was designed to teach you absolutely everything without ever feeling overwhelmed, so that you are in the best position to make the best gains of your life. You can learn more about it by clicking the first link below. So I hope all the information was useful and that it puts you on the right track to succeed. Thank you for watching, good luck on your muscle building journey, and I will see you next time. If you liked this video, then you will surely like this one too.